Did you miss me? Yeah, I know. I've been gone for a little bit. Had some issues. I was a little sick for a while. So we're going to get going. We'll talk about what we're doing here in a minute. We're going to go over the one big beautiful bill. I haven't gone over it yet. We're going to do it together. It's going to take a long, long time. Right? Eddie Block Show. You know what? We're going to leave everything open. So I guess we should show the chat from all the different places, shouldn't we? Let me see. How do I do that again? Live chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? Y'all having a good time? Did y'all miss me? So yes, I was sick for a while. Been working on stuff around the house, and I may or may not have burnt my leg to a second-degree burn. That wasn't really good for me at all. So shit happens. It is what it is. It happens a lot, actually. I can't feel my leg. So, but everybody's going around, this one big bill. You got everybody fighting. You got Elon Musk fighting, saying, if anybody who votes for this, I'm going to primary him, type stuff like that. I'm going to put him up in this ad. And, if people watch this show enough, everybody here knows that I'm a big, huge proponent of only one thing in a bill. And this being a one big, beautiful bill means there's a whole bunch of things on this bill. And that's something that I don't particularly like. And it's a huge bill. And so I'm wondering, we have everybody fighting. Oh, because a lot of people are out there, whatever President Trump says, they're going to go for, right? And then there's some people that are against it. And there's arguments back and forth. Oh, you're not a real Republican if you're going against Trump. And, oh, you're not real, So we're going to make we're going to make this into a series, a big series. And we're going to read the whole entire bill. And for those of you that don't want to watch the whole boring long, because it's going to be like 2 hours times like 10 episodes, because it's over 1,000 pages. But I'm going to go through it all. And then I'm going to cut it up into little areas so we can show you guys, just the key points. And I'll put those up on my X page, and I'll put them up in little Huron chapters too. So, man, I can't get my Rumble to work on my phone. So anyways, let me restart my phone, because I want to see what's going on with it. Anyway, so here's what we did. Or here's what I did, I should say. I haven't done any of the work yet. I went to Congress.com, and I got here, the one big beautiful bill. I downloaded this committee hearing stuff, blah, 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 right? And this is, there's 2 engrossed in the House. Well, the one I got was from 522, so it's still the same stuff, basically. So we're going to read this freaking thing, and we're going to go through it step by step. I even went, and I was having trouble even looking at it because it's all in white. So I changed it to make it easier for us to read. And it's in black with green on the background. So hopefully that's easier for you guys to read, because it's definitely easier for me to read. So we have all of this, page 1, blah, 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 section this, section that. We're going to skip over all this stuff. Because, we're not just going to skim this thing. That's the problem. Nowadays, everybody wants to skim over everything. And they just give me the 5-second version. Well, that's the problem. Because nobody reads through this whole fucking thing. And I guarantee you, none of our senators and none of our congressmen read the whole fucking entire bill. Even the people that wrote this didn't read the whole entire bill. So we're going to start off from the very beginning. We're going to read it all. And we're going to discuss it too. So here we go. Title 1, Committee on Agriculture. So agriculture. Subtitle A, this is nutrition. So, the Department of Agriculture, controls like SNAP and all that good stuff, So here we go. Section 10,001 point, Thrifty Food Plan. I saw like a few lines of this and I already got upset. So, Section 3 of the Food and Nutritional Act of 2008 is amended to read as follows: a thrifty food plan, in quotations, means the diet required to feed a family of 4 persons consisting of a man and a woman 20 to 50, a child 6 to 8, and a child 9 to 11 years of age, based on relevant market baskets, that shall only be changed pursuant to paragraph 3. The cost of such diet shall be the basis for uniform allotments for all households regardless of their actual composition. The Secretary shall only adjust the cost of diet as specified in paragraphs 2 and 4. So far what this is going to be is this. We're going to have it set up to where a family of 4, and this should be how much money it should cost you, I'm guessing, per month to feed a family of 4. So that way they can set this up and figure out what it costs. Now here's what it says: household adjustments. So they're going to make adjustments for household size. And this is where I start getting a little upset here. So it says household adjustments. The Secretary shall make a household size adjustments based on the following ratios of household size as a percentage of the maximum 4-person allotment. So look, it's saying the maximum 4-person allotment, right? So you think, oh, okay, so this is only going to be able to feed a family of 4, which, I mean, isn't that the typical size of an American family? Let's see, typical size of an American family. My guess it's a mom, dad, and 2 kids, right? So let's see. Let's just type in real quick and let's do a real quick research. Actually, this says it's 3.15 people. A typical of American family, defined as related individuals living together, is 3.15 people. Okay, so 4 is they round it up big time. But I digress. So here we go. So 4A is for a 1-person household, they get 30% of the allotted amount. Okay, I'm happy with that because there's less people, so they shouldn't get the full family of 4. Actually, I think if you're all alone, I don't really know if you should be getting, help like this. But I digress. So for a 2-person household, you get 55%. Okay, that's all right. For a 3-person household, you get 79%. I think that should be 75, but it's not too bad. For a family of 4 household, it should be you get 100% of whatever they figure out a family of 4 should live off of. Now here's where it gets to the point of where I'm not happy. For a 5-person household, you get 119%. For a 6-person household, you get 143%. For a 7-person household, you get 158%. An 8-person household, you get 180%. 9-person, 203%. And for a 10-person household, you get 224%. Now let's just read K, and then I'm going to tell you what I don't like about this. For households with more than 10 persons, such adjustment for each additional person shall be 224% plus the product of 21% and the difference in the number of persons. So basically, you're going to get 21% more for each person. So if you have 11 people, you get 224% for 10, so that means you're going to get 245%. Then if you have 12 people, you get 266%, and so on. I don't like this whatsoever. Just think about this. What is the problem with welfare? You have families that they have more. The more kids they have, the more money they get in welfare, right? I think the minute you get on welfare, you shouldn't be allowed to have more kids. I mean, you can have more kids, but if you have more kids, they're not going to be part of the welfare. That's what I think. And so here's what they're doing. They're doing it. They're going to give you more food stamps for the more kids you have. So what are people going to do? They're just going to sit home and screw all day long. So they have more kids because then they're going to get, well, I'm going to get more in food stamps. And I'm going to get more money in welfare. We live in a welfare state, and that's not cool, folks. Think about it. I know families, because I've seen it. They come, they're all over the place. You get these families, and they teach their kids and their daughters how to get on welfare or how to get on disability. So they never have to work their entire life. And then they all live in the same house. So, and you think, well, I wouldn't want to live on disability, all my life. I only get like $800 a month. That's not a lot. But if you do it with, the husband gets disability, the mom gets disability, the kid gets disability, the second kid, the third kid. Let's say you have 4 kids, right? And so there's 6 of you. That's almost $6,000 a month on Social Security. Plus, you're living off of Social Security, so then you get housing, so you don't have to pay for your housing. Then you don't make enough money, so you get food stamps. These people are probably raking in over $10,000 a month. Why should you go to work? Just keep screwing and having more kids, right? That's what this creates, and that's what bothers me. That's one of the issues I have with this right here. And this is why we need to be able to run and read every single part of these bills. This is why it should be a single bill, a single issue bill. I hate these big bills. And that's why we're going through it. And like I said, you're going to probably get bored listening to me and reading this, but we have to do this to understand it. And for those that don't want to, I'm going to cut it up into pieces. It's going to take me a lot longer to do, so you won't get those until later on. Anyways, I digress. So let's keep going. So line 20 says reevaluation of market baskets. So A, the evaluation, not earlier than October 1st, 2028, and not more frequently than 5-year intervals thereafter. The Secretary may reevaluate the market baskets of the Thrifty Food Plan, taking into consideration current food prices, food composition data, consumption patterns, and dietary guidance. So basically what they're saying is once they have a price set for how much they think a 4-person family should eat every month, it can only be adjusted every 5 years. So if prices go down really fast, then they're going to get more food. If prices go up really fast, they're going to get less food. And I understand it might balance itself out, but F it. But then when you think about it, when you're paying money to check it everywhere. Anyways, I think there should be a limit. I think you get on food stamps, you can only be on it for a year, or for 2 years. You get 2 years to get yourself in a better living environment. All this does is, when you let people sit on there for years on end, they're never going to go look for work. Now, when it comes to disability and people that are disabled, like people like me, I have spinal bifida, or if you have somebody, with a mental disability, and I'm talking about like real mental disabilities, not these people that say, "Oh, I'm scared to go outside," kind of, that kind of, "Oh, I have anxiety, I can't go to work." No, I call bullshit on that stuff, right? I'm talking about people with, like Crohn's disease, spinal bifida. People that can't walk and are in wheelchairs, people that have so much pain every day that they can't move every day. Those people, I have no issue with them getting disability for the rest of their life. Those are the people that deserve it, okay? But not these people that fake their injury. I mean, I still remember it was a Cheech and Chong movie a long time ago, and they had they were at the disability office, and you see this guy walking up like he can barely walk to get up there to go talk to the person, and then he walks out the room like normal. There are those people in life, and I hate those people. You're not supposed to hate, but, well, I do. All right, anyway, so B. Prior to any update of market baskets of the Thrifty Food Plan based on a reevaluation pursuant to subparagraph A, the methodology and results of any such revelation shall be published in the Federal Register with an opportunity for comment of not less than 60 days. Cost neutrality. The Secretary shall not increase the cost of the Thrifty Food Plan based on a reevaluation or update under this paragraph. Allowable cost adjustments on October 1st immediately following the effective date of this paragraph, and on each October 1st thereafter, the Secretary shall, so this is what they have to do on every October 1st, adjust the cost of the Thrifty Food Plan to reflect changes in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the Department of Labor for the most recent 12-month period ending in June. Make cost adjustments in the Thrifty Food Plan for urban and rural parts of Hawaii and urban rural parts of Alaska to reflect the cost in urban and rural Hawaii and urban rural Alaska, provided such cost adjustments shall not exceed the rate of increase described in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics and Departments of Labor for the last and most recent 12-month period ending in June. And that's because, I've lived in Alaska. The place is expensive, right? Because everything's got to get shipped up there. Same thing with Hawaii. It's expensive because everything's got to get shipped out there. So, that's kind of, I kind of get it, right? But then I think that there's an offset because if you live in Alaska, you get your dividends every year, and that's your oil money gains, right? Anyways, Part C. Make a cost adjustment in the separate thrifty food plans for Guam and the Virgin Islands of the United States to reflect the cost of food in those states, but not to exceed the cost of food in the 50 states and the District of Columbia, provided that such cost adjustment shall not exceed the rate of increase described in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the Department of Labor and the most recent 12-month period ending in June. I have a solution for all this, folks. I don't even know if my chat's working or not. I know this probably people aren't going to chat with this stuff, but who knows? Let's see. Let's see if my chat's working. Looks like it's working. Looks like it's working. Anyways, I have a solution for this. Back in the old days, you used to get. Let's see if we can find out. Food assistance in the past. Peanut butter. You got peanut butter. Block of cheese. Let's see what all that included. Food assistance in the past, peanut butter. In the past, specifically around the 1970s, there were food assistance programs like the SNAP program. It was basically SNAP. Distributed a large box of government-issued cheese in charge of peanut butter to those in need. So you got peanut butter. While these specific were only part of the programs, continue to supplement the diet. So right now we're giving food stamps, and they can go get whatever they want. But back in the old days, you got a block of cheese, you got peanut butter, you got some dehydrated eggs, dehydrated milk, and the reason is because you're not supposed to be getting benefited by being just lazy, right? Nowadays, you go and stand in line behind somebody who's getting all these benefits, and you're sitting there getting peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because that's all you can afford, or even back in the day, Top Ramen, when I was in like 18, 19 years old, I would go get Top Ramen at Walmart because you get 20 for $1. And that's what I'd eat all week long because I couldn't afford it. But you be behind these people getting welfare, and they're getting fucking steaks and lobsters and crabs and all this expensive food and soda pops. And, it's bullshit. So I think they should go back to the old ways. You get a block of cheese, you get some peanut butter, you get some bread, you get some dehydrated eggs, you get some dehydrated milk, and that's your food for the month. You know how quickly people get off food stamps? I bet you it'd be quick. All right, so now able-bodied adults without dependents work requirements. So in order to get the Section 60, that's O, not 03, of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended to read as follows. So an exception, paragraph 2 shall not apply to an individual if the individual is under 18 or over 65 years of age, medically certified as physically or mentally unfit for employment, which I think this stuff should be a lot more stricter. C, a parent or other member of a household with responsibility for a dependent child under 7 years of age. I don't get what that, why, I don't know. 7 years. When does kindergarten start? Otherwise exempt under subsection D/2 of E, a pregnant woman, so she doesn't have to work. F, currently homeless. So if you're currently homeless, you get welfare benefits and food stamps. G, a veteran. I don't mind that. H, 24 years of age or younger and was in foster care under the responsibility of the state on the date of attaining 18 years of age or such higher age as the state has elected under Section 47(8)(b), the third of Social Security Act. So they're saying here is if you're a foster kid and you live in foster care until the day you turned 18, the day you turn 18, they just kick you out, set you free. So they'll give you food stamps for that. I've never been in foster care and stuff, but I can imagine it's pretty hard if you're, you turn 18 and you're kicked out. because the family you were living with was only doing it for the money. And once you turn 18, they're like, I'm not getting any more money, so see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya, right? I can kind of get that. All right, so I says this: responsible for a dependent child 7 years of age or older and is married to and resides with an individual who is in compliance with the requirements of paragraph 2, which was, what is paragraph 2? Paragraph 2, I guess we're going to read paragraph 2 pretty soon. So here's the problem with this as well, right? Like, my ex-cousin on my wife's side, she got welfare, she got food stamps, she got all benefits for having 4 kids, right? And she never got married. The reason why she never got married, she lives with her, I call him, she even calls her husband, right? But if you're not married, then you get the benefits because of not being married to him. But he still lives in the house with them. They just don't claim that he lives in the house with them. That's the bullshit part about it. And they get benefits. So that pisses me off. That's their little side route around this. And that needs to get stopped too. All right, so B says sunset provision. The exception in sub-paragraphs F through H shall cease to have the effect on October 1st, 2030. F through H. The currently homeless, a veteran, and so they're going to get rid of these 3. And let's see, where does paragraph 2? Paragraph 2. Anyways, I guess we went past paragraph 2. Here we go. Able-bodied adults without dependents waivers. So Section 6 of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended by amending paragraph 4A to read as follows. In general, on the request of a state agency with the support of the chief executive officer of the state, the secretary may waive the applicability of paragraph 2 for not more than 12 consecutive months to any group of individuals in the state if the secretary makes a determination that the county or county equivalent as recognized by the Census Bureau in which the individuals reside has an unemployment rate of over 10%, and in paragraph 6F by striking 8% and inserting 1%. So they're saying if they have a high unemployment rate in their county, then the state can make the decision to still give this person benefits. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. There's always work, right? All right, section 10,004, availability of standard utility allowances based on the receipt of energy as substance. So allowance to recipients of energy assistance. So this is people who can't pay their electric bill because they sit on their butt all day long at home with the air conditioner on, or in the winter they sit home all day long with the heater on. So they have a high bill and they're like, well, I don't make any money, I can't pay my bill. So this is an energy assistance program. The standard utility allowance, section 5E, 6C, 4I of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008. I guess we have to open up this part too. I guess we'll have to open up the code book of this. Is amended by inserting with an elderly or disabled member after household. So you know what? Yeah, we got to go look this stuff up. The Food and Nutritional Acts. Because you know what, folks? We're going to do this all. We're going to figure this out. And we're going to figure out everything that's wrong with this thing. Here we go. So once it pops up, I'm going to save it. So that way we can go back and forth. Because we're going to do this right. Hold on, how do we save it? Are you not going to let me save this? Let me see if there's a way to download it. Let's type in PDF. I know. You guys are going to say, man, this is kind of boring. It is. But It's something that we should do. So that way we can do all this. I'm gonna help you guys figure it out. Download the PDF. Here we go. That's not. Oh wait, here we go. I just saw the thing where it says we can download it. Here we go. Download. Download. I guess it already did. Did it open it up over here? Where did it download this thing to? How do you download this? Come on. It says I downloaded it. Alright, anyways, I guess we're just gonna have to look in here. We'll just do it this way, okay. Because I want to see the differences. Okay, so standard utility section. Let's just copy and paste this then. So copy over here. Let's go to find. They're not found. Okay, how about let's just do section 5. Section 5. Okay, Food and Nutrition Act. This is going to be long and boring, guys, but you know what? I don't care. We're going to do this. We're doing this because it needs to be done. Actually, standard utility allowance. Let's look at that. Standard utility allowance. All right. So now let's see. So it says 5E6. Let's go with 5. And then E6. So we're in 2. Here we go. There's 5. The Secretary shall kinds of resources that are practical matter. Okay, never mind. You know, we're just going to stick with the main one. All right, anyways. Is amended by inserting with an elderly or disabled member after households. Whatever that means. So, conforming amendment. Section 2605F2A of the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Act is amended by inserting received by a household with an elderly or disabled member. Before consistent section, blah, blah, blah. So, a third-party energy assistance payments. The Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended in subparagraph A by inserting without an elderly or disabled member or household the first place it appears. In subparagraph B, inserting with an elderly or disabled member after household the first place. Well, see, this is all just stupid stuff that they're writing that doesn't need to be in here. And basically, so here's the problem that I have with this also. So we have all these nonprofit folks, and they go and they get their grants to do stuff. Well, like in Madera, they have the Madera Community Action Partnership of Madera, and they have it all over the different counties and stuff like that. And what it is so it's called LIHEP or something like that, LIHEP or something. And if you're having trouble paying your electricity bill, you can go see them. And my in-laws at one time when I was married had this issue. So the funny part is my ex-wife worked at that company at the homeless shelter, and so she said, well, Mom, Dad, go check this program out. So when they went there to check the program out, what they were told is this. They said, yeah, we'll help you pay your monthly bill. And they're like, okay, well, we're like 3 months behind. They shut our power off, and so our in-laws had no power in their house. This nonprofit said, whoa, well, we would help you, but our rules state that we can't help you unless you're current on your electrical bill. So how is that helping people, right? So basically, this company just got paid by the government to deny these people help. It's like when you get one of those home insurance, companies, or I'm here to talk to you about your extended warranty. I worked for one of those extended warranty plumbers for just like 2 days. The reason why is he said, here's the deal. We get their co-payment. Our whole entire job is we don't get paid any more money from the insurance company. All we get paid is the 35 bucks unless we can make sure that they do not get insurance benefits. So you find every single thing in the book to say, oh yeah, well I'm sorry, you're not covered under the insurance, right? So then you're like, but I can fix it for you for 80 bucks or 90, whatever it is. And that's how they screw you. You are told that you have to get it denied. It's just insane how that works. But anyways, I digress. So I don't like nonprofits for this reason. They're just the money makers. They don't help the community. They do a little bit, but they mostly make money for the people in charge in the administrative departments. I mean, my ex-wife had 2 degrees in women's studies and all this other stuff, and yet she was getting paid minimum wage by a nonprofit. So Section 5E6 of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended by adding at the end of the following restrictions on internet expenses, service, fees associated with internet connection, including but not limited to monthly subscriber fees, i.e. the base rate paid by the household each month in order to receive service, which may include high-speed internet, taxes and fees charged to the household by the provider that recur on regular bills, the cost of modem rentals, and fees charged by the provider for initial installation shall not be used in computing the excess shelter expense deduction. So here they're putting it, here part of this act that's already in there is the government will pay for your internet service. If you don't make enough money, the government will pay for your internet service. If you're not working, why do you need internet? And I can already hear what you're going to say. I already know. Well, the kids need to have internet at home. Well, they have internet at school. They have after-school programs. When I was a kid, I came home and I had to do my freaking homework. And then after I did my homework, I could go out and play, right? So you get your homework done first. So why not, stay at the after-school program or the library to use the internet there? Every library has internet. Every school has internet. I'd rather have an after-school program that the kids could go to and do their homework before going home. And so instead of paying for the internet, we pay for the after-school program, which they already have the after-school programs anyways. And then think about this. Then people can't say, well, you know what, I couldn't work because I had to pick up my kid after school. Well, now you don't. Your kid stays in school until 5 o'clock. That way they can sit there and do their homework because then they have free internet. This is why every single bill, folks, should be one subject, because they throw little stuff like this in here. And, it may seem very small, and it's a couple bucks here, it's a couple bucks there. And one of my former bosses put it the best way. We were up in Anchorage, we were building a hotel. And this company had like 10,000 employees because we built high-rise hotels all across the nation. And everybody was showing up a minute late, 2 minutes late for lunch, 5 minutes late. And our boss at the time said, hey, to you guys it's a minute. But we have 10,000 employees. Think about that. So if everybody shows up 1 minute late, that's 10,000 minutes. 10,000. Let's see what 10,000 divided by 60 is. 10,000 divided by 60. That's an hour. Okay, that's 200 hours, and us plumbers were getting paid $300 an hour or $30 an hour at that time, plus everything else. So think about that. So 30. So you add what's 3? That's 6. So then you add 2 more zeros. So that's $20,000. Now put that into millions. Does that make more sense? Why every little penny counts here? Because it's not just pennies to us. It's a penny, but it's pennies over millions of people. So if I were in this, I would scratch this off the bill right here. We don't need to be giving everybody internet. We give them a cell phone, and the cell phones have internet. And if the cell phones, are too small to read, all you got to do is hook it up to your computer, and you get internet through there. Go to the frickin' library. That's what libraries are for. We pay for libraries too. Section 1 or 10,006 matching fund requirements. So Section 4A of the Food and Nutritional Act of 2008 is amended by striking subject to and inserting the following: program, establishment subject to, and by adding at the end of the following matching funds requirements in general. So you're gonna have to start matching funds, it sounds like, which I like. So federal share, subject to paragraph B, the federal share of the cost of allotments described in this paragraph in a fiscal year shall be, for each of fiscal years 2026 to 2027, 100%. Then for this fiscal year 2028 and each fiscal year thereafter, 95%. The state share, subject to subparagraph B, the state share of the cost of allotments described in paragraph 1 in a fiscal year shall be, for each of the fiscal years 2026 and 27, 0%, and for fiscal years 2028 and each fiscal year thereafter, 5%. Why is the federal government paying 95% and the state only paying 5%? I don't like that either. I would do 50-50. And here's another thing. President Trump just said, well, we're not going to give federal benefits to California because of all your insane policies. Now, as you think about it, it's only 5%. And yes, 5% is probably like $1 billion, $100 million, a couple $100 million. Who knows, right? But I still think it should be 50%. I think the state should bear half of it. Now, the state quality control incentive. Beginning in fiscal year 2028, any state that has a pay, and by the way, I do like this. They're starting to make the state pay some more. So of course I like it, but it's not enough. So beginning in fiscal year 2028, any state that has a payment error rate. Oh, let me make this bigger. I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. We'll make this bigger. Beginning fiscal year 2020, any state that has a payment error rate as defined in Section 16 for the most recent complete fiscal year for which data is available equal to or greater than 6%, but less than 8%, shall have its federal share of cost allotments described in paragraph 24. Okay, so let's look at this. What does this mean? State has a payment error. Let's see what this means. We're going to go over here to Grok. We'll see. Because Grok is pretty good at doing this stuff. Explain this to me. Grok will do this. The text appears to be from a legislative regular. So what is the state quality control incentive? This is a mechanism to encourage states to maintain low error rates in administering a program. States with lower error rates may receive a higher federal funding share, while those with higher error rates may face reduced federal support. Okay, so that's what it means. But I mean, here's another issue I find with this. The states are sitting here, and they're just checking themselves, right? Of course, you're gonna be like, oh, all right, we can have a. You don't want to lie 100%, because if you have, oh, we're perfect, we don't make any mistakes, that's going to look wrong. So you're going to say, okay, we can have, so what does it say right here? It says we can have equal to or greater than 6%, but not less than 8%, but less than 8%. Okay, how about this? Let's do 6. We'll say we're 6.5% of the time wrong, right? So we're, it doesn't look like we're lying, but we are lying. For the current fiscal year, equal 85%, and a state share equal 15%. Equal to or greater than 8%, but less than 10%, shall have its federal share of the cost of allotments described in paragraph 1. For the current fiscal year, equal to 80%, and a state share equal to 20%. And equal to or greater than 10% shall have its federal share of the cost of allotments described in paragraph 1. For the current fiscal year, you're equal 75%, and its state shall equal 25%. There's a whole bunch of numbers that just make you go crazy, right? It's making me go crazy right now. But they're starting to say, look, the state's got to start paying more. I like this part. The state definitely got to start staying more. So, okay, so this is a good part of the bill. I'll agree with this stuff. Rule of construction. The Secretary of Agriculture may not pay towards the cost of allotments described in paragraph 1 of section 4A of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 as designated by subsection A, an amount greater than the applicable federal share described in paragraph 2 of such section 4A added. It's a lot of bullshit. All about construction. So let's see. The Act of 2008 is amended by striking 50% or 50% and inserting 25%. So where does it say 50%? And the state share equal to 25%. So this I don't like. This is saying, okay, instead of paying 50% for the state, now the state's going to have to pay only 25%. That's bullshit. Like I said, I think the state should have to pay half. You know, federal government pays half, the state pays half. It's like you got mom paying for half, you got dad paying for the other half. You know, in a separation. That's what I think should happen. Okay, so I don't like this change right here. You may like it, but I don't. So this should be something that should be, to be stripped out of this bill. And this is what Elon Musk means by, hey, they're spending more money. Okay. Number 4, in paragraph 1A, in the matter preceding clause, by striking over the age of 15 and under the age of 60, and inserting over the age of 17 and under the age of 65. And in paragraph 2, by striking child under the age of 6 and inserting child under the age of 7. So they're letting the kids be a little older here. They're given 2 more years to help the kid by striking between 1 and 6 years old of age and inserting 1 and 7. So they're adding another year on this section and 2 more years on this section of helping out kids. Helping out kids is a good thing if you're helping out the kids that are here legally. Okay, section 10,009. How long have we been going here already? We've been going 42 minutes. I know this is going to bore you guys and stuff, and I'm going to have to cut this up and edit it still and make it into smaller ones for those of you that don't like to watch the long, boring ones. So anyways, let's get going on here. Section 11X2 of the Food and Nutritional Act is amended by adding at the end of the following: data sharing to prevent other multiple issuances. A state agency shall use each indication of multiple insurances. What's up, AC? Help me get to the new requirement. Oh, okay, thank you. You know what I'm doing? We're doing this new section here. We're gonna talk about. Everybody's arguing about the one big beautiful bill, and nobody ever knows. Oh, I'm live right now, so I can't just jump over to yours, bud. Real quick though, so what we're doing here is this. We are letting. Okay, what's up, bro? No verdict in the 9th in the Diddy trial sheets. Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna answer your messages anymore, guys, because I want to get this all done. This is something that nobody's gonna want to watch, but I'm doing it because I don't care if you want to watch it. This is stuff we need to discuss. I'm sick and tired of people fighting over, is this bill good? Is this bill bad? Number 1, I think we should have only one item per bill. And I've already found a lot of stuff in this one big beautiful bill that I don't like. And I'm only been in this for 45 minutes, and that's not much. So this is why I'm going through this all, and then I'm going to cut it up in special sections for you guys. For those of you that don't want to watch it all, and we can make them into short, quick videos explaining what's going on. So data sharing to prevent other multiple issuances. I don't know why we haven't had this forever. Data sharing. So if you're giving out money to somebody through SNAP, and then there's another program for food, and you don't share your information, then they're double dipping. And I don't like double dipping. Nobody should. They shouldn't be allowed to double dip. But you know what? Once people find the loophole, they do it, and then they share it with everybody else. So here it says a state agency shall use each indication of multiple issuance or each indication that an individual receiving supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits in one state has applied to receive supplemental nutritional assistance program benefits in another state to prevent multiple issuances of other federal and state assistance program benefits. I love this. This is a great thing. This is a good thing. I like this in this bill that a state agency administers through their interrogated eligibility system that the state uses to administer the supplemental nutrition assistance program in the state. This is great. So basically what they're saying is this in this section right here. Hey, every single state has to be updating their information so that way Mr. X over here can apply for STAT benefits in California and then also apply for them in, let's say, Michigan and getting food stamps in Michigan and food stamps in California. It keeps them from double dipping, which I can only imagine how many people actually do that. All right, moving on to the next section. Section 10,010, Quality Control, Zero Tolerance. So section 16C1A2 of the Food Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended in subclause I by striking and at the end in subclause 2 by striking fiscal year thereafter and inserting of fiscal years 2015 through 2025 and by striking the period at the end of inserting and by adding at the end of the paragraph for each fiscal year thereafter $0. So before it says, well, they're changing. So maybe it said 2015 to 2025, it'll go down by 1% each and everything. Instead, now it says for every fiscal year thereafter, there's going to be $0, whatever part this is, whatever it means. And so that's what that means. Now, section 10,011, National Education and Obesity Prevention Grant Program Repealer. Why do we even have this program? Everybody's obese in the United States for the most part, especially those on food stamps. Have you seen the people that are complaining about, well, I'm not getting as much food stamps anymore? They are obese. Let's be real. I'm obese. I'm not on food stamps, though. The Food and Nutritional Act of 2008, 7 U.S.C. 2011 sequence is amended by striking section 28. So we're going to have to go and look up what section 28 is for these short clips. Now, section 10,012, Alien SNAP Eligibility. Okay, this is going to get good here. Section 6F of the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 is amended in the first sentence by striking no and inserting, in addition to the limitations on eligibility and personal responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996, no, and by striking no and inserting, in addition to the limitations of the eligibility of personal responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996. So let's look this up. Let's see what we can find this is over on X. Or we're just going to search for it. Let's see if we can find this thing right here. So this is our illegal alien stuff. It was a significant piece of federal legislation signed into law by President Bill Clinton in 1996. Most notable for its major reform. Here's a summary. Replaced AFDC with... Hold on. So I want to see the actual thing instead. Human Health Services. Is this the whole entire thing? So what section are we looking for? Okay, in the first sentence, by striking no, in the very first sentence, how can we, under the new law, recipients must work after 2 years on assistance with few exceptions. 25% of all families in each state must be engaged. So we're going to have to go through all these stuff, but where is it? Child support, tough new families first, teen parent provisions, increased child care, preservation, nutrition. Okay, when we get, I'm gonna put this in sections, and then we're gonna do it all. So basically, he's saying this is for the alien SNAP eligibility. So they're striking no and inserting in addition to the limitation. So they're limiting even more. It says by striking or an alien who entered the United States prior to June 30th, 1948, or such subsequent date as is enacted by law, has continuously maintained his or her residence in the United States since then and is not eligible for citizenship, but who is deemed to be lawfully admitted for permanent residence as a result of an exercise of discretion by the Attorney General pursuant to Section 249 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Or D, an alien who is qualified for conditional entry pursuant to Sections 207 and 208 of the Immigration and National. If you're an illegal alien, I don't think you should get any benefits. An alien who was lawfully present in the United States as a result of an exercise of discretion by the Attorney General for emergent reasons or reasons deemed strictly in the public interest pursuant to section this and this. Or an alien within the United States as to whom the Attorney General has withheld deportation. And in the second sentence by striking clauses through F and inserting paragraph 2B. Okay, I'm gonna have to go and find this, and then we're gonna look that over. So, but basically, what this looks like is he's trying to take away, because this before this would never say aliens. Now it says aliens, so they put in aliens, and I think they're gonna take it away from them. Which that's a good thing. I like that part of this bill. Section 10,012, Emergency Food Assistance. Section blah blah blah. The Emergency Food Assistance Act is amended by striking 2024 and inserting 2031. So they're changing something that should have ended in 2024 and letting it end in 2031. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if we're going to like it or not. I'm just realizing now I'm doing this live, and I'm going to have to actually go and maybe not do this live and make this into sections. Section by section, because I have to download all these different things. But we're going to keep going right now, and I'm going to separate all this stuff and add in all that other stuff. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to here. Emergency food assistance. So subtitle B, investment in rural America. Just so everybody knows, let's see exactly what rural America is. What is rural America? Let's see what the definition is. Refers to the regions of the United States that are located outside of urban areas, characterized by low population density, so small towns, open spaces like farmland, forests, mountains, including areas with fewer than 2,500 residents. So that's what they consider rural America. In general, subject to the subparagraphs B and C, the term reference price with respect to a covered commodity for a crop year means the following. For wheat, $6.35 per bushel. For corn, $4.10 per bushel. So this is the reference price that they're doing. And for grain, sorghum, $4.40 per bushel. Barley is $5.45. Oats, $2.65. For long grain rice, $16.90. Medium grain rice, $16.90 per hundredweight. Soybeans is $10 per bushel. Other oil seeds, $23.75 per hundredweight. For peanuts, $630 per ton. Dry peas, $13. So they're changing the prices, I think, is what's going on here. The reference price is defined in subparagraph A with respect to a covered commodity shall equal the reference price in the previous crop year multiplied by 1.005. So they're saying that these prices are starting right now up until 2020. It started in 2014, but it went to, where did it change up? To 2031. So starting in 2031, it's going to have these prices until 2031. Then it's slowly going to go up by 5/1000ths of a cent. or percentage point, I should say. So it's helping out farmers. But I always wondered about this. Like I talked to a farmer buddy of mine. A lot of times, farmers will just throw their crop away and they just throw the crop away and they collect the money. What good is that for us? Why don't they give that to the homeless shelters and stuff, or to the soup kitchens? So effective beginning in 2031 crop year, the reference price is defined. So in no case shall a reference price for a covered commodity exceed 115% of the reference price for such covered commodity listed in subparagraph A. So it's saying, no matter what, it's never going to get above 115%. Base acres, section 1112 of the Agriculture Act of 2014 is amended by striking 2023 and inserting 2031 by adding at the end of the following additional base acres. So in general, as soon as practicable after the date of enactment of this subsection and notwithstanding section, the Secretary shall provide notice to owners of eligible farms pursuant to paragraph 4 and allocate to those eligible farms a total of not more than an additional 30 million base acres in the manner provided in the subsection. So it means you're only going to get assistance up to this much, which is 30 million. What are base acres? What are base acres? Is a concept used in U.S. agricultural policy, particularly in programs administered by U.S. They represent the historical average of base planted on a farm over a defined period used to determine the eligibility. Base acres establish a farm's eligibility for commodity program payments are typically based on the average acres planted to program crops during a specific historical year. Okay, so my guess then would be, so it says 30 million acres. Because look, that's thousands. That's millions, so it's 30 million. So I'm guessing no farm, I don't think there's a farmer out there that has 30 million acres. So I'm thinking that's in total in the United States. The notice under paragraph 1 shall include the following: information that the allocation is occurring, regarding the eligibility of the farm for an allocation, information regarding how an owner may appeal a determination of ineligibility for an allocation base acres under paragraph 4. An owner of a farm that is eligible to receive an allocation of base acres may elect to not receive the allocation by notifying the Secretary. So I'm guessing if you're only getting paid $4.30 an acre for something, and you can sell it for $5 an acre, the product, I guess you'd rather do that, right? So in general, subject to subparagraph D, effective beginning 2026 crop year, a farm is eligible to receive an allocation of base acres if, with respect to the farm, the amount described in subparagraph B exceeds the amount described in subparagraph C. Blah, 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 blah. The 5-year average sum, the amount described in this subparagraph with respect to the farm in sum of the 5-year average of the acreage planted on the farm to all covered commodities for harvest, grazing, haying, silage, or other similar purpose for 2019 through 2023 crop years, and any acreage of the farm that the producers were prevented from planting during the 2019 to 2023 crop years to cover commodities because of drought, flood, or other natural disasters. So here's an issue I have with this. So they're going to give you money from the federal government if there's drought. Well, California is providing their own drought here, right? We don't collect our water. We let it run out to the oceans because it's against the law, because we got these stupid little fish here, right, that they're trying to protect. They're protecting fish lives over human lives, which is bullshit. So I think that this is, I don't like this part right here. I think what should be added in this is if the drought is not caused by the state. That's what I think should go on here. At the lesser of. So 15% of the total acreage on the farm. The 5-year average of the acreage planted on the farm to be eligible non-covered commodities for harvest, grazing, haying, silage, or other similar purposes for 2019 through 2023 crop years. And any acreage on the farm that producers were prevented from planting during 2019 through 2023 crop years to be eligible non-covered commodities because of drought, flood, or other natural disasters or other condition beyond the control by the producers as determined by the secretary. How long is this section? 4:35. All right, we're going to end this right here, folks, because I don't have all the information, and I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to make these ahead of time. I'll still stream them live, and because I want to have all the information. So we're going to end part 1 of this right now, and I'm going to start doing research on this so I can do an even better job of this. All right, folks. I know this is boring stuff, but this is stuff that's very, very important, and we need to start doing this. Because in the first section of this, we found a lot of stuff that we didn't like. Or at least I didn't like. All right, you guys, have a great day. And I'm gonna get my farmer buddy. I'm gonna pick out a date when we can talk about this. And he's also a poli-sci professor at Fresno State, and we're gonna talk to him about some other good stuff here, and his thoughts on immigrant workers, farm labor. All right, talk to you guys later. Have a good day.